This is the way the balls, adjustment balls for leveling are at the moment. Basically just a bolt going up there into this. Actually it's a wood fastening on this bottom aluminium sheet. This type of wood fastening that has prongs on, but the prongs have been flattened, two sheets and glued together. I'll talk about that in this other video. And the idea there was by screwing this in and out, this like bolt there, it could move to a certain extent up and down in the threads of this wooden fastening. T-nut I think they're called actually. Well, I'll put some details on this video. And that does work. There's a spring on there obviously, so you can spring. Not sure how well the lighting is here. And I was going to put one of these on the bottom. It's like what's known as a nail, flat nail nut. So that it would be easier to grip that and turn that. But I'm going to do a slightly different method. This does work. It will give, you know, a few millimeters of adjustment there up and down. But the other method the different method I'm going to use is like this. So basically I'm going to actually have the ball fastened into this top part, the T-nut, which has threads on it. Probably using a nut here. There's a spring on here. I'm going to change that spring. I might even put a longer bolt on here. I'm unsure because I want this higher up. Because this bulldog clip actually just scrapes along the front edge of this. Where like smooth rods go into. Just about touching that when it comes forward. But I'll probably remove these bulldog clips and have a different method on to clip the top plates. Now this isn't the final top plate, by the way, it's just here for now. But anyway, so there'll be a nail bolt there, and this bolt, well not actually this one but similar to this, will be actually fastened into this T-nut that comes down. And then by turning this nail bolt, let me move it forward a bit. Actually I think you can probably see a little bit better if I go like that. So there's a spring there, you might just make it out. By turning this nail bolt, it's like this nail bolt will move up and down on the thread of this bolt because it'll be fastened up here at the top, and that will cause the whole plate on a spring to move up and down. So that's basically what I'm aiming to achieve, is to change them from this method. Can I move that Jubilee clip a little bit? There we are, that's a little bit better probably. This method screws from the bottom and is pushing on the actual bottom plate against this spring, and just relying on the threads in the top part of this T-bolt. Which, as I say, is enough really, I think. But using this method, it'll give quite a lot more movement, especially if you get the right type of spring. Now I have not got the right type of springs. I did buy some springs and some longer balls, but these are too heavy, these springs. This is why I injured my finger on by pressing on the top of this spring to see how springy it was. Now these to a certain extent only spring about 5 or 6 millimeters, so you can't really show you that, just take my word for it, maybe. And they're quite strong. The wire, in a way, I ordered the wire too thick, so I might order some more with a bit thinner wire. Hopefully you can see that spring reasonably well. And that is the basic idea, to change them all to this. I will probably put these springs on now, and I might have to probably cut these balls down. These are these button head balls. So that is the basic idea, because I want this bed a little bit higher to go over the top edge of here. A bit of a gap, obviously. So I mean, that bolt there is long enough to do that, because it will go up if the spring is longer. But I'm going to look at that now, and I'll come back when I'm finished. So here we are. I'll just move you a bit closer for a better look. So put a longer bolt on. Longer spring. This spring in a way is a bit too heavy. I had to drill this metal plate. I drilled the hole that was in there to 5 millimeters, because the threads on this bolt do catch a plate as it's sort of moving up and down otherwise. And there's a nail, flat nail thing there. So basically I can turn this, and that screws up against this metal plate which is on the bottom of this acrylic sheet, and that pulls it down. This is quite difficult to get in when it's actually, the printer's on its sort of side at the moment, and it's quite difficult to get in and reach this and adjust this, but I think it will be just about possible with this quite heavy duty spring I've got, which I don't like. I'll just show you that it does spring on that, so if the nozzle does come down from this side, hit the bed, that'll like spring down, and yet it allows adjustment up to a certain extent, or down. Obviously you want it, say, down a little bit like this, so there's a bit of a gap there, so that you can, sorry about that, I've just knocked the camera, so there's a bit of a gap there so that you can also like unwind it, and then the spring will push up against the plate. Now this sort of metal glue I used, Evo stick is it? I'll talk about that in my other video, to glue these two plates together. Still not all that good, because when I was screwing in at least one of these balls, it did push up and start pushing them apart. I was thinking of putting a nut on the top of here against the sort of T-bolt. I'll talk about this in the other video, as I say. So that's those, they're on each corner basically, with a T-bolt for wood at the top that's been flattened on the edges. Oops, sorry, catching my camera on my printer because I'm quite close. And that T, the top of that T nut thing is between the two plates. That's why I've got two plates, one below, one above. And basically that's about it. I think that's the best I can do, apart from maybe get a thinner wire spring on there, because I do think that's a little bit heavy, that spring. The length is probably okay, everything else is okay, diameter, etc, etc. Just a bit too heavy, just a little bit too heavy, that coils, well, the actual strength of the spring in a way. So that's that, as I say, super glue and forgotten what to call it, that soda stuff powder mixed in together there on the T-nut. So I'm pretty sure that will work pretty well, as best as I can do it. I do want auto leveling on here anyway, but I still want some adjustment on it if I need it. So sort of almost from the edge it's going to look something like this. Well, it does look something like this. And as I say, the bulb going quite deep into this T-nut thing that's coming down from that top plate there. It is quite hard to reach that nail, but I think it will be manageable. Just to like turn it like this. So I'm knocking this bed forward a bit, you might see that moving there. So I'm going to finish off putting that back together and look at the next stage that I want to be done with this printer.